If nothing else, this video teaches us one thing. DC loves to milk the Sandman franchise. Woof woof! Hey guys, it's me Marcus, aka the Mad Dog, and we're back with another video. I've done this style of video a few times in the past with series such as The Boys and Invincible and Criminal, because if you've just watched Sandman over on Netflix, you might want to jump into the comics, but you don't really know which format you should pick up, or even more so, just which series you need to begin with. So to start, you've got the main Sandman series that was 75 issues long, and it was published between January 1989 and March 1996. It was fiercely under the DC Comics banner, but then when the Vertigo imprint really got established, it started being published under that. But don't worry, I've got an entirely different video that I've been scripting about Vertigo that's, I feel like I've been doing it for months now. Then over the years since the main series has ended, there's been a variety of different mini-series and graphic novels that have been published under the Sandman banner. First up is Sandman Dream Hunters, that's 4 issues long and it was published in 1999. And there's no specific point in the main Sandman series where you need to start reading Dream Hunters. You can even read this without having read anything before it. So who knows, maybe this is where I'll start. Because yeah, there is something a bit controversial about me doing this video, and it's that I famously have not finished reading Sandman. Yeah, I spoke about it when we did the top 100 graphic novels, and also when I did my classics that I've never read, but still I've researched enough and probably spoiled the ending for myself so that I can give you a good answer on what you need to do to collect this series. Because when it comes to this type of stuff, it's just a bunch of numbers. You've also got Sandman Endless Nights, which is an original graphic novel that was published in 2003, and you've also got Sandman Overture, which is 6 issues long and published between October 2013 and September 2015. Wait, they took 2 years to publish 6 issues. And this is a prequel to the main Sandman series, but from what I noticed in a lot of message boards, people just recommend reading the Sandman books in the order that they were printed. But then there were a significant amount of other mini-series and spin-offs that were connected to the main Sandman universe, but didn't explicitly say Sandman in the title. So I'm just going to blast through them, and first up we've got Death, The High Cost of Living, which was 3 issues that were published in 1993. This seems to be one of the only ones that people say is necessary to read to get the full experience, so remember this one for when we get into the different collected editions. You've then got Sandman Mystery Theater, which was 70 issues long and it was published between 1993 and 1999, and it looks like this is going to be collected in a compendium that's starting coming out next year, unless DC decides to cancel it, but it seems like they're doing that more with the movies than the comics these days. You've got Witchcraft, which is 3 issues long and published in 1994. Death, The Time of Your Life, again it's 3 issues but published in 1996. There was then a 60 issue series called The Dreaming, which was published between June 1996 and May 2001, although it doesn't look like there's many collected editions of this series that are readily available at the moment. You've got Witchcraft Le Terror, which I'm sure I'm not pronouncing correctly, but again 3 issues but 1998. The Girl Who Could Be Deaf, which is 4 issues from 1999. Destiny, A Chronicle of Deaths Foretold, which is 3 issues from the year 2000. You've then got the Lucifer spin-off series, which went on for 75 issues. It was published between June 2000 and August 2006, and ironically I've read more of this series than I have the main Sandman run, and this was recently collected in 2 omnibuses that are very easy to get your hands on. And the last spin-off that I'm going to mention here is the Dead Boy Detectives. This was 12 issues long and published between February 2014 and February 2015. However, this was only collected in 2 trade paperbacks, which are now very out of print, and it doesn't look like there's an easy way to pick this up. Now there's also an extensive list of graphic novels, specials, one-shots, and even just broader universe stuff. And I haven't even touched on Sandman Presents or Sandman Universe because I just feel like that might over-convolute things, you know, more so than they already are. So if you are confused, don't worry, because I'm just going to break it down into the individual formats that you could buy if you want to get this and what you'd likely need to pick up. First up is the single issues, which is why I told you how many there were for each individual series. But honestly, if this is the route that you want to go down, good luck. Just due to the prestige of Sandman, its place in history, and also its growing popularity, this is going to be a very expensive way of collecting this series. And also you might struggle to find one particular issue, and then you will always know that your series is incomplete. And if I'm being honest and you're watching this video because you just want an easy way of collecting Sandman, I would completely rule out this option. So the next option would be the trade paperbacks, and the 75 issues of the main series has been collected across 10 readily available trade paperbacks. You'd then just need to pick up trade paperbacks of Overture, Endless Nights, and Dream Hunters. There's a trade paperback for Death, which collects her 2 mini-series, The High Cost of Living and The Time of Your Life. In the past, DC's even done a box set of the series, but I think that's now gone out of print and people are paying ridiculous prices just because it's got an extra bit of cardboard. Which I don't know why I'm sounding judgmental, I'd probably do the same. But I'm saying that so that you don't get fooled, because the content will be the exact same. As well, you can probably drop on and buy a lot of these different volumes second hand, because with the popularity of this series, there's always going to be somebody that picks it up and maybe doesn't like it and wants to sell. They don't collect comics and they just wanted to read this one, but now they don't want it in the collection. Or maybe they've upgraded to one of the other formats, so you can probably get a bargain if you look on somewhere like eBay or some of the Facebook market groups. And one thing to note is that the trade paperbacks have been reprinted an ungodly amount of times already. This is a book that's pretty much never going to go out of print in this format. There will always be some way that you can get this. And I can't blame them, it's a money spinner, but the one thing that you should know is that if you get a volume that's printed after 2010, it's going to have the recoloring that took place in the absolutes. But if you do have a preference, then it's important that you know that before you start buying. But that's pretty much the only real hang up and thing that could trip you up if you're going to go down the trade paperback route. The next format that we're going to talk about is the Deluxe Editions that were recently released over the last couple of years. It'll come in this format, so the dimensions will be the same as the Omnibus if you've ever seen one of them, and it'll roughly be about this thick. Each one contains about 20 or so issues. There's 5 numbered volumes, and this will get you the 75 issues of the main series, along with issue 1 of Sandman Mystery Theater, Sandman Special issue 1, Vertigo Winter's Edge issues 1 to 3, and Vertigo Jam issue 1. It'll also get you the mini-series of Dream Hunters and the graphic novel of Endless Nights, along with just a collection of covers which had its own hardcover a number of years ago, but didn't think that that was essential, so I didn't mention that before. But what is missing from these numbered volumes, which seems essential to the overall reading, is Overture. This did have its own deluxe edition which was released in 2015, so you can just pick that up, but it is a little bit disappointing that it isn't included in these numbered volumes. There was also some volumes of the deluxe edition, in particular volumes 2 and volumes 4, which weren't available, but in all honesty, because of the popularity of this series, I do think that this will be coming back in print soon. But if you did want to go down this format, I would recommend picking up Overture first. It is a little bit suspicious that they didn't include it in the numbered volumes, and it is also disappearing out of stock. Death also has their own deluxe edition, which includes the exact same content that was included in the trade paperback. So you can still get this full experience in deluxe edition. It does just mean that you'll be buying a total of 7 books. Next up, we've got digital, and if you're not one of those people that love shouting that you will never buy a digital comic and you're only ever going to collect physical, then this would be a very viable option for you. And I'm not going to go into every single digital version, but there are 2 very cost-effective ways that you can pick up this series. First up is through DC Universe Infinite, which is their subscription-based program, which is very similar to Marvel Unlimited. And this has pretty much the entirety of Sandman and some of those spin-off series like Lucifer and a few of the others along the way for a monthly subscription rate that would be cheaper than 1 volume of any of these physical collections. Unless, of course, you find some almighty deal that just nobody will be able to beat. The second digital route that I'd recommend is Kindle Unlimited. Now, you can get the first 2 volumes of Sandman for free if you're already subscribed. So you can sort of use this as a trial to see if you like it, because even if you've watched the show and you really enjoy it, and it does sound like it's a faithful adaptation of the comic, it might be the case that you just can't get into the comic, especially if you've never read one before. So there's no point spending money if you don't need to. You can check out this series and see if you've already got these 2 volumes waiting for you. And if you did like it, then maybe you could pick up one of these physical collections or continue with it digitally. But if you do, make sure that you don't use Comixology, because it's just a complete mess there. However, an easier, albeit more expensive way of collecting this series would be with the omnibuses that I've got over my shoulder here. There's 3 volumes in total. I do have the 3rd one, but the camera is pretty much just in front of it and it'd be really difficult to get out. And at the minute, the 1st volume is quite difficult to get, but they are coming back into print and you can already pre-order them from the channel sponsor, Organic Price Books. They've got great packaging, fast shipping and amazing customer services, and if you use code WOOFWOOF, you'll get $2 off your order. And if you're ordering 3 or more books and you want them to be delivered together, make sure you use code WOOFWOOF, ship it together for 5% off your entire order. Don't worry, you can just copy and paste them from the description down below and you can use these codes as many times as you like. And like I said, there are 3 volumes. The first 2 collect the entirety of the 75 issue main series, and the 3rd effectively works as a companion. So you've got stuff like Overture, Endless Nights, Dream Hunters, the 2 Death mini-series, along with just a lot of other stuff. But effectively speaking, it is an easier way of picking this up when they are back in stock, because the 3 omnibuses collect the same material as the 5 deluxe editions and the 2 extra ones that I said that you'd need to pick up. But that wasn't the last edition that we've got to talk about, because yes, of course, we've got the Absolutes. Now strap in for this one, because the Absolutes started to be printed in 2006, which was before a lot of that other content was even written. All of the series was recolored to celebrate, which is the same colouring work that you'll see in the deluxe editions, the omnibuses and the new trade paperbacks. paperbacks. And these come super oversized, so it'll be about this dimension, and for comparison, that's it next to the Omnibus. I like how I got two really dark coloured books against a dark background. That was great genius level intellect there, Marcus. And this is the nicest production value that you could probably get for Sandman. It's been nearly 2 years since I did my video on my favourite Absolute Editions, and people are still telling me that I did it wrong because I didn't have Sandman in it, even though I don't own them. There's even nice bookends that you can get of Death and Morpheus that I've seen people put all of these between, and honestly, that almost got me to buy these. And volumes 1 to 4 of the Absolute Editions will collect the 75 issues of the main series, along with a few other specials and some extras. Then you'd also have to get Absolute Death, which collects the mini-series that I've mentioned God knows how many times already in this video, along with pretty much all the Death-centric special issues, and the Death Gallery, which just features a lot of nice art. A volume 5 was released in 2011, which collects a lot of the other stuff that's outside of the main series, so it does contain Dream Hunters, Endless Nights, and Sandman Mystery Theatre issue 1. And finally, to cap it off, there is also an Absolute Edition of Overture, which you would need to complete this series. So in total, this would be 7 books, and this is the most expensive way to get this series if you're basing it solely off the cover price. At the minute, it does look like volumes 4 and 5 of the Absolute Editions are also quite out of print, but considering that they've kept this format in print since 2006, I wouldn't really worry about it being gone forever, and I really wouldn't recommend paying over cover price. Absolute Death was massively out of print at one point, but that got reprinted, so I'm pretty certain in saying that the others will as well. And in all honesty, with how popular Sandman is, I don't think it's worth paying over cover price for any of the volumes that I've mentioned in this video. Like, save your money, or give some to me. The only other format that I'm going to mention is just so that you don't pick it up on accident, but it's the Annotated Editions. If you've never read Sandman before, or maybe you haven't picked up a comic, it might be the case that you see this and buy it and then just realise that you've got the wrong thing. This is pretty much, if you know you like Sandman, it's the equivalent of an audio commentary that you'd get on a Blu-ray. So it has got a lot of nice detail. If you realise that you do love this series, then this might be something that interests you. The issue numbers follow the same consistency as the first 4 Absolutes, and that does collect the entirety of the main series. And the art's also in black and white, so you can appreciate some of the detail more, but if you are new to this series, I'd just recommend avoiding this one. If you read the series and love it, then maybe come back to this one, but that's just my personal opinion. And to cap this off, I'm just going to give my recommendation, depending on the situation that you're in. In the best overall format, I'm still going to go with the omnibuses. I just think 3 volumes and you've got everything that you pretty much need. When these are in print, they're also quite cheap. And yeah, I know I'm probably going to be crucified for not just going with the Absolutes because they are the nicest looking edition. But when I think about how many different volumes there are, along with the cost of each volume, I just think that the omnibus works out better value for money. If you're someone like me and you know that you do like comics, you like a nicer format, but you're quite new to Sandman. However, if you're fresh into comics but you do still want a physical edition, then I would definitely recommend the 10 volume trade paperback set. Like I said, look for it second hand, you might be able to find a really good deal, and this will be much more cost effective than just jumping into the omnibuses, especially at the moment because people are selling them for over cover price. Although being a truly frugal person, I don't think that I can complete my recommendations without saying that it's probably best to just try this series before you jump in head first. Even I read a couple of issues of Sandman before I bought the omnibuses, just because I know that sometimes when there's hype, it doesn't really live up to that expectation. And it might be the same for you. Just because something's acclaimed doesn't mean that you're gonna love it, so why not save yourself some money, and if you've already got DC Universe Infinite, then check it out on there. And if you don't, then why not get a couple of volumes for free if you've got Kindle Unlimited? There's no harm in checking something out for free and then saying, hey, actually this isn't my kind of thing, and then you've saved quite a bit of money. But I'm gonna leave this video here. If it looks like I'm quite tired as a result of this video, it's because I am. Hopefully this video wasn't too confusing and it's helped at least one person know how they can buy this series now without double dipping or missing something. That was always the intention of this video, but I guess that's the video, and until next time, just make sure that you stay safe and stay mad, all you dogs. Woof woof! See you the next video.